Welcome to the Whissel Way podcast. I am your host, Bryan Koci, joined by my very special guest host today, Tad Murroughs. Welcome, Tad.
Hey, thanks. Do I look here or?
You can just look at me.
All right.
If you have something very specific, you can look there, but otherwise, look at me.
Cool.
Tad has a very unique story. He came on our team when we merged with another team. Originally was an agent and switched into the ISA role and has since led our ISA team. We'll talk more about that as we go, but really today I want to talk about scripts. Tad is a master at scripts, and what I think is really unique about him, like I said, is he was an agent. So it's not that just like, oh, I sit here and make phone calls 8 hours a day, and that's the only experience he has. He's licensed, he's helped people buy and sell. So he has that kind of full scope of after the fact as well, which is going to be really helpful in this podcast. If you like the podcast, you want more information about either it or more information to build your business, go to thewhisselway.com. On there, you can go join our Facebook group, our YouTube channel, you can join our network for referrals for people leaving San Diego. You can learn about our Media Mayor Mastermind course. That's the thing that Kyle and I put all of our information about how we have grown our business via media. And there's one more thing. Oh, you can ask a question that we can answer here on the show. So all that's at thewhisselway.com. Let's get into it. Tad, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
So it has happened, I feel like more often than not, people go from ISA to an agent. They graduate that role. You went the other route from an agent to an ISA. Tell me a little bit about why you did that.
Yeah. So I started as an agent, and for full transparency, for me, the lifestyle of not knowing where my next check was going to come from, having it be dependent on commission only, for me, the way my body, the way my brain works, that was a lot of stress, and it wore me down. I'll be honest. And so I didn't make bad money, but it just was so inconsistent. I wasn't good at managing it, and maybe that's my fault. But for the way that my brain works, the way that my life works, I identify better with having a little bit more consistent home base, with the opportunity for my sales skills to still come into play, and I look at them as bonuses on top.
Yeah, I think that's so valuable. I'm the same way, where I'm like, look, no, I need consistency rather than you have unlimited upside, but you also have your floor as an agent is zero.
It's less than zero.
Your floor as an employee is not zero. And so I think that's really interesting, and I really respect the fact that you took a look at who you are, what you did, what was appealing to you, and said, hey, let me take a step into a different direction because that fits me better. I think a lot of people that are in your situation may say, oh, real estate's not for me, but still be very skilled. And we've had several agents move into the ISA role, either temporarily or permanently. So all that being said, again, we'll get into scripts, but if you're someone like Tad, who you're like, hey, look, I'm great on the phone. I love making phone calls. I don't mind it. I'm good at it. But the inconsistency or the driving around or any of that jazz doesn't work for you, think about becoming an ISA and looking at teams in your area or maybe not in your area and see if that's something you can do.
I also don't think of it as a step down. I think of it just as a sideways step. It's a lateral step. It's the same business. It's just from a different perspective.
Yeah, and I don't see it as a step down either.
Yeah.
But I do think it's very mature to be able to say, okay, let me move in a different direction.
Yeah, thanks. A large part of the reason of it as well is when I was an agent, I made my whole business by pounding the phones. I would sit for 2-3 hours a day. I sat right next to the team leader, and I would just fall on my face. I would say the stupidest shit stuff.
Yeah, you can say it.
I would say the stupidest shit.
And whoa, we're a family show.
And if you're not willing to try, if you're not willing to say the stupid thing, get it out of your system. Now, I sat right next to my team leader, and every call he would go, hey, what happened there? And he would just poke me and tweak me just a little bit here and there until he didn't need to anymore. And so I built my whole business that way anyways. So for me, it was a natural transition.
I think what's interesting about that, and I think what's valuable about that, I think agents are often worried about making phone calls because they don't want to fail. They don't want to ruin that lead. And I understand that. I get it. You don't want to say the wrong thing and have that lead turn off. But if you don't call them, they won't work with you anyway. Like you can't sell a house to someone that you don't ever talk to.
Yeah. I also think that comes from a mindset of scarcity versus a mindset of abundance.
You can always get more. You can always get more. Or you can call them again, and if you call them again and 2 weeks later, they will not remember that you called and said a dumb thing.
Yep.
Likely. All right. But I heard a quote once that said, knowledge is learning from your mistakes. Wisdom is learning from others' mistakes. So you had lots of times where you messed up. You had lots of times sounding stupid. Let's talk about how not to sound stupid. Yeah. So one of the things that I always hear, and I'm not an agent, but one of the things that I always hear that drives me absolutely up the wall is how an agent or an ISA will start the conversation. So let's assume you're making an outbound call. Mm-hmm. How do you start that conversation?
I think the framing of the call matters. So it's not going to be the same for every single phone call every single time. And I feel that that's an important distinction, because if you're somebody that has access to a pond, a database of leads to call through, you've got 30, 40, 50, 100,000 leads to call through. How do you filter those leads? Who are you calling? Why are you calling them? You need to know those things before you even pick up the phone in order to know what you're going to say in that first moment. And when, for me, a lot of the leads that we call through our brand new leads that our team has generated. So they've been on our website at some point. I know that much. They were either looking at buying or selling. I know that much. And depending on the filter, they were either on today, within the last 7 days, or within the last 30 days. So that for me is enough of a frame of reference. The other thing to understand as well is the opener really matters in terms of getting the lead grabbed. So there's a lot of mentality around how do I grab that person in that moment.
So this is what I normally hear, and I agree with you all. Hey, this is Bryan from Whissel Realty Group. Is this John?
I don't need a realtor. Who the fuck's Whissel Realty? Click.
Yeah, that's what I hear 95% of the time, and it drives me nuts. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, I'm starting the conversation, but you're starting it cold. Yeah. So how would you start, say they sign up on our website within the last 7 days, looking at properties. How would you start that? How would you grab them so they don't just go, because I always say, no, thank you, and just hang up.
Hey, Bryan, this is Dad Murroughs, and I'm just reaching out because you were looking at some homes on my website recently, so I just wanted to find out, were you just kind of window shopping, or are you considering buying a home? I
love that, because you do address the, were you just looking? Because a lot of times, I was just looking, bye. So you address that, but then you also give them the other option. Tell me a little bit about some of the psychology in that. Like you said, it has a lot to it. Tell me a little bit about why.
Okay, so imagine you get a phone call from a number you've never received. What are you going to think? You're going to think, who is this? Do I know this person? Why are they calling me? What did I do to get this person to reach out to me, if anything? And how do I get off this call, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you've had this experience before. You're walking down the street, and somebody that you have no idea who it is, they come up to you, go, hey, Bryan, how's it going? Oh, it's been so long. I haven't seen you in so long. How's the family? They've just gaslit you into thinking that you know each other.
Yeah.
Because if you meet somebody face to face like that, they come with your name, they're asking you about your family. You don't want to go, I don't know who you are, right? You're going to go, you're going to try to fall through that conversation until it clicks, right? So they kind of gaslit you a little bit, which...
Maybe intentionally, maybe not. Maybe they're like, no, we obviously know each other. I'm like, I don't know you.
But you don't want to go, oh, well, I don't remember you. If somebody's going to be so friendly, you probably have a good connection, right? So coming from familiarity, I almost always, the second word of my script is usually their name. And that addresses, does this person even know me, right? If somebody calls and goes, hey, I'm looking for this person, please. Well, let me ask you a question. When you call your best friend, do you go, hey, is Bryan there? I'm looking for Bryan.
Yeah.
No, you go, hey, what's up, douchebag? Right?
Yeah.
like something that is some sort of familiarity.
So hey, douchebag is the opener.
Write that down.
So I love that. And now I'm going to play devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. I don't believe this, but well, Tad, that's all good. But then the list I use sometimes gives me the wrong first name.
Oh, I might have the name wrong. Were you looking at homes online recently?
So you don't let that stop you. Their name might be wrong.
Correct.
Now, what if they say, my name is Mickey Mouse Funhouse. You're obviously not going to call him and say, hey, Mickey Mouse Funhouse, it's Tad. You're right.
Yeah, there are times where I just omit the name. I saw a name the other day, and I actually posted it in Slack. Xochitl. Xochitl. I have no idea how to say this. And I actually, on that particular call, they answered, and I just said, hey, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how to say your name. But you were looking at homes on my website. Were you just kind of window shopping, or are you considering buying a home?
Did you learn?
I looked it up after, yeah. Apparently it's so chill, I guess. That's what I heard. But anyways, there are times where omitting the name makes sense. But oftentimes that coming from familiarity is a way to get in the door, right? And now you've addressed, does this person know me? And then what's the next thought? Who is this? Well, the next thing in my script is, hey, Bryan, my name is Tad Murroughs, and I personally choose to use first and last name. To me, it's a psychology thing. Because if I just go, hey, this is John, it's like, I couldn't look you up. I don't know who you are. I'm giving you my first and last name. Go look me up. I don't care. I have nothing to hide, right? So that's maybe a small detail, but I choose to use first and last name. So now I've addressed, does this person know me? Who is this person? Why are they calling me? The next words of my script are, I'm calling because you were looking at homes on my website. That demonstrates that this is not cold outreach. You took an action that prompted this call. So if you're unhappy that you're getting this call, engage in the conversation, and we could make that not happen anymore if you're not looking to buy a home after we get 3 no's. But that's why I take it down that line. I come from familiarity, I address who I am, I tell them why I'm calling, and I give them an out for the call.
So speaking of the out, no, I'm just looking.
Perfect. So that's exactly what the website's for. But I'm curious, was there anything in particular you were looking for?
Okay, good. So I love that. What are some other things you do as I'm trying to get you off the call? Because I don't want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Because we understand cold calling is, I don't want to say cold calling per se, but what it is. But it can be seen as disruptive marketing. You're disrupting my day by calling me at a time where I'm not necessarily ready. So I may try and get you off the phone. Mm-hmm. What are some other things? I love you're just looking. What are some other things that you do that you say before you go, or what other tricks do you have for that?
Well, this is where I may have a different philosophy than a lot of people, but I'm happy to share it. My philosophy is that if you're helping someone, then you're not bothering them. Mm. I may have caught you at a time where you weren't necessarily expecting a phone call, but if I lead with respect through the call, if I offer you respect, there's a big theory of mirroring and matching, which I firmly believe in, but if you don't have anything to go off of, you got to give them something. Now, if I took the exact same script, hey, Bryan, my name is Tad Murroughs, and I'm reaching out because, you were looking at homes on my website, and I just wanted to know, I don't want to talk to you. I'm going to hang up, right?
I wanted to hang up right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't hang up in the middle of a podcast. That's weird.
Right? But if I give energy at the start of the call, I give them it sounds like I want to be there, and I do, because I owe it to these people to get on the phone with them, because I take it as seriously as this. If I connect with somebody and I'm able to have a conversation with them, and that conversation leads to an otherwise unknowing buyer figuring out that they can buy a home, now we're starting to accumulate wealth for that person. And for a lot of families, real estate is generational. So this person's grandchildren might have a better life because I wasn't afraid to pick up the phone, because I didn't let them being upset that I was calling get in the way of me making their grandchildren's lives better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, they took an action first. I love how you said, now a lot of time, and I think at Whissel, our perspective has changed on this. Originally, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not in this department. Originally, the goal of the phone call, the goal of every phone call was to set an appointment, because that's how you move people down the funnel. If I'm to understand it correctly now, the goal of the phone call is to set a next step, right? And it could be disqualifying them, and they go, "Oh yeah, my kid clicked on that, and I don't know what they're talking about. I live in Nebraska, and I'm hoping I get welfare soon. I've never been to San Diego." Disqualifying a client is actually a win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk about why that's a win and how you can look at it. Because otherwise, if I'm an ISA or if I'm an agent and I think, well, I'm going to call and make an appointment, well, that only happens one so often. But if you can qualify and set next steps, you're going to have lots more wins throughout the way.
Yeah, I think that I understand why you're saying the philosophy shift. The philosophy shifted. I don't wholly agree with the notion, but I understand where it comes from. So the goal is always going to be to set an appointment, but we also believe in chunking things down, right? If I call and go, hey, like, do you want to work with my team? Like I'm not going to get to my goal, right? So if I can break the goal down to something a little bit more easy, a little bit more engaging with the person, and I'm able to open the conversation up a little bit more, it could come through in a way that's more genuine. Like, listen, like my whole job is just to find out why you were on my website. If you were just window shopping, perfect. Was there anything in particular you were looking for? If you tell me no to that, then I go, all right, then I just have one last question for you. Are you looking at homes online now? Because you're trying to get a feel for where the market's at now, because you're considering buying a home in a year. It's a little bit of a long question, but I promise you can always get it out. And you'll either get a yes or a no at the end of that. In my opinion, that's the third no, which to me disqualifies the person. I'm not going to get an appointment on that call. But if you take it from the approach of, I just want to know why you were even on the website, it feels more, that's easier to engage with. I'm not asking you to make some life-changing decision around trying to buy a house and get pre-approved and deal with your credit score and get a hard credit check. No, like, why were you looking at homes online? That's a lot easier to engage with.
I chuckled a little bit because we were at lunch and you're like, right now when you're like, oh, I just want to know why you're on my website. It reminded me of when we were at lunch. It was, get off my lawn, you damn kids. Like, why are you on my website? Either do something or get out. Okay, switching gears. I love this mindset of it, but I want to make sure we give, and I love the opening. I want to give more script-heavy stuff here. Mm-hmm. There's been scripts that have flown around, or script frameworks, I guess that you can say, that have been thrown around for years. Mm-hmm. We used to use LP Mama, then there was ALM, and then there was ALMS.
Yeah.
Those are Zillow ones.
Yeah.
What would you, if you were to tell agents they can use one framework? Now I know for certain leads work, like there's in the weeds, but give me the one framework that you say this works for 70 or 80% of your leads.
I'm gonna be honest, that's tough. So
Okay.
the reason that I say that is because I think that the framework should be around how a conversation goes. So I think you've got your opener, which is what I gave you. From your opener, you're now in the discovery portion of the phone call, where you're going to ask questions until you can understand who's on the other end of the phone. You have, during your discovery, you can identify what a problem is. And if you can solve that problem, you can set an appointment.
So what I hear you say, it's funny, I like saying that back to you.
Yeah.
Because you do it back to me all the time.
All the time.
We're actually in EOS as how we run our business entrepreneurial operating system. Mm-hmm. And they have a thing when we have an issue on the list, it's called to IDS it. And you actually use those words. It's identify, discuss, and solve. So first what you're telling me is this is a different framework than the other ones I offered, mm-hmm. but it overall covers what we're looking for. Identify the problem, mm-hmm. right? Discuss it and really drill down to see, is that the problem or is that a top level? Like, is it deeper? Mm-hmm. Like, I want to move because I want more space. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to have more kids. Does that mean you need a better school district and a room for a dog? Like, you got to drill down. It's not just, I feel like 5 is a better number than 3, and so that's how many bedrooms I want. Like, that's not, you got to dig down. And then you solve it by setting the appointment.
Well, yeah, kind of. In order to solve whatever problems you discover, you need to know your teams or you need to know your value propositions. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to hear what their problems are and know how to present, here's what we offer that will solve that for you. And in that, if you can find that, that's why the one thing, because you asked like LP Mama or ALM or whatever, ALMS, M is in there every single time, and it's motivation. If you don't get their motivation, you're fucked. The motivation is the single most important thing that you can get, because if you don't understand what is driving this person to take this on, then what are we doing here? Why are we even engaging in this?
Give me some ways to ask for motivation, because you're not going to be like, so I mean maybe. So what's motivating you to make a move?
Sometimes it depends on
I'm
the
actually
person.
not even mad at that.
I will ask that sometimes. Some people say that using the word motivation or motivating is taboo in this setting. I take it or leave it. I disagree. It just depends on. I try to mix it up. What has you looking to buy a home? What's prompting you to buy a home? Why are you even considering buying a home? Except I don't like saying I take that back, because I don't like saying why are you doing that. I worked at In-N-Out, and it's a very small thing. It's a very small thing in verbiage, but the way you say things matters, especially considering how much of communication is body language. If you're on the phone, you're missing 55% of the body language, so the remaining 45 is highlighted. So little things matter. But I was asking people, they would say, oh, I want a double-double. And I go, do you want onions on that? And my manager took me aside and she said, I get why you're saying that. Do me a favor, ask them, would you like onions on that? And I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that. And this sounds silly, but people would smile when I would ask that. Like, do you want onions on it versus would you like onions on it? It's a very small tweak, but it made it those little. I live in those little details because we don't have body language. We don't have all that.
Yeah.
So that kind of wording matters to me.
Okay. What are some no words that you? Well, so wait, before we go on to that, because I like that question. But motivation's important. You ask it fairly early in the conversation. It's not in your opening line, but fairly early, right?
Correct.
In the first third of the conversation, would you say?
Easily, yeah.
Okay. And then one thing that I don't think you specifically said here, but you've shared it, is consistently keep bringing that, as they bring, oh, well, no, I don't want to do that, bring back their motivation of, remind them why they're doing this.
Yeah.
And not to be manipulative. I've shared, there probably are people in the world, but there's no one on our team good enough to make someone buy a house that they don't want to buy.
Yeah.
There's probably people in the world that can, but there's no one on our team, and we've got a great team. It's like Frosted Flakes. So I don't want to manipulate to get them to do something they don't want to do, but I want to help them achieve their goals and get out of their own way. Right? That's why people hire a personal trainer. They don't need necessarily someone to be like, hey, don't eat In-N-Out every day. Do some push-ups. They know this, but they need someone to remind them of it.
Absolutely.
To remind them what their goal is. So motivation early and often.
Early and often.
Give me some no words. And I didn't prep you for this, so I'll let you think for a second. But are there any words, I'm going to try and think while you think. I don't like when we use the words specifically buyer or seller. I don't think it happens too much in phone calls, but it happens a lot in marketing. Buyers are looking for whatever. It's like, they're not buyers, they're humans.
They're human beings.
They're people that want to buy a house.
Yeah.
And so that bothers me, and sometimes I'll even use it. I'm like, why do I do that? I don't like that. Yeah. So that's something I'll always call out. Are there things that you hear that are like, oh, drive you nuts, or words you should absolutely avoid?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like when there's when people go, when you start a phone call with how's it going, wasting everybody's time. That absolutely doesn't need to happen. Unless it's a follow-up call, if it's somebody that you know,
sure.
Okay, that I understand. That to me is a little different. But if you're prospecting, no one gives a shit. How's it going? Yeah. Even your friends, when you have that, you kind of mean it, but
yeah. Hey, person I don't know, how's it going?
Well, I just ran over my cat, and now somebody I didn't want to talk to is calling me. So well, I can solve your problems. What are you doing? You're giving yourself an uphill battle here. So
and it's disingenuous. You feel like you're connecting, but everyone knows no one cares.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are. You having a good day? Leave me alone. Okay. Yeah. I love that. Give me another one. And it could be either on the close or on the open. Give me another one.
Lead says, you know what? I'm not too sure if I'm ready yet. Call me back another time. All right, perfect. Well, I'll circle back. We'll reach out down the road.
What should we do instead?
Be specific with what you're gonna do, because remember that if you can find out from them that if you know that they want to buy, that to me is very important, and you should be finding that out early on the call. if there's gonna be, now to get back to your point before where you talked about next stepping people, that's where this comes in. This is where that comes in, excuse me. People need a next step. And so if you know wholeheartedly at your core that you following up with this person is going to be able to help them, help their family, back to the whole grandchildren thing, I want to empower them to reach out when they feel ready. And I also want to let them know that I will not fail them. And what I mean by that is if they ask me, oh, like call me back in a couple of months or whatever, I'll tell them, I'm going to text you so you have my direct number. That way you can reach out to me if anything changes in the meantime. But I'm going to call you back in 2 months. If they tell me 6 months, if they tell me 8 months, it's never going to be that long. I'm going to do them the service of calling back sooner to make sure that, number one, they remember who I am. Number two, a lot can change in that time period. And I can give them a market update. I can let them know the trends we're seeing right now, like anything, but let them know. Like if they tell you, oh, I'll call you back at a certain time frame, I encourage you to do that, and I hope you do. And because I know life gets busy and sometimes numbers get lost, I won't lose your number. So if I haven't heard back from you for 2 weeks, I'm going to call you in 3 just to make sure that I'm staying on top of things for you.
Yeah, what I love the specificity. My last boss really, that was his pet peeve. Soon or later or after I talk with them, he's like, no. Yeah. Give them a time limit, a time frame of when you're going to follow up and meet it. And so you can say, I don't have that answer. Let me get that and let me figure it out, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow comes, you don't have the answer. You have 2 options: either ghost them until you get the answer, which is what most people do.
Yep.
Or 2, show them some respect and say, hey, I told you I'd call you back today. I'm still waiting on an answer. I've got some feelers out. Is it cool if I call you in 3 more days or sooner if I get the answer? Yeah, sure, no problem. But you want to follow through with your follow-up.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Follow through with your follow-up. Let's go, baby.
I like it.
The other thing as well, like, let's say I said that I was going to call them back in 2 months. They might not answer in that moment. I'll leave them a voicemail. I'll send them a text. Hey, I told you I'd call in this time frame, and I am. I'm leaving a voicemail or texting them. Even if they don't answer, they're gonna. Oh, you know what? He said that he was gonna do that, and he did.
And I've heard people say this before when they're like, or I guess I'll just ask you, how do you respond when someone's like, bro, you're following up so much. You're following up too much. Stop calling me. Don't call me so much. It doesn't happen.
It's pretty rare that happens for me because I firmly believe, and like my ISAs will tell you this, every single time that you disengage with a lead, set expectations about the next time that you're going to call and why.
Yeah.
Every time. Every single goddamn time. And then because then, oh, well, I don't know what I'm going to say on my follow-up. Well, what did you tell them you were going to call them about? And then call them about that thing. And then you don't have to worry about your follow-up ever because you've told them why you're going to call and when you're going to call. And if they don't answer, hey, I told you I'd call on this day and here's the update for you. Since I didn't hear from you and it's important to me that we connect, I'm going to try again tomorrow.
I've got 2 more things that I want to dive into, and we're going to go a little long today. Hopefully you're okay with that.
I'm good.
But I'm really digging this. And I know there's 2 more things that you've got so much value on that I don't want to gloss over. The first one, I already forgot the second one. No, I remember. The first one is asking for the appointment. Mm-hmm. It's something scary that we think.
No, it's not.
Okay, good. Something a lot of people feel like I called them
once in 6 months.
Well, yeah, but it's like you gotta ask for the appointment. Talk about why it's not scary. Talk about why it's important, and then finally tell me the words I need to use to ask for the appointment.
Yeah, it's not scary because I think what's not scary. Well, I think what's scarier is not being able to pay your bills. I think what's scarier is not being able to achieve your goals. I think what's scarier is not being able to help people, make their lives better and get them what they're looking for because I was afraid they might say no. Like that's crazy. Like, come on, let's get past that.
Well, and what's interesting is if you ask, there's a chance they'll say no.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, it's an implied 100% no.
Yeah.
So like,
absolutely.
Either do I do 100% no and get rejected no matter what and waste everyone's time, or do I give myself a chance?
Yeah, take the chance every time.
Yeah.
And now you asked like what do I say when I'm going to close? That depends entirely upon what you learned about them in the discovery portion of the phone call. Because like our team has moving trucks that we own and our clients get to use them for free for life, right? But and so if I don't ask enough questions during discovery, and then my value proposition, my problem that I try to solve for them is, well, we have our own moving trucks and you get to use them for the rest of your life. That's really cool, but like I own a trucking company and I have more trucks than you do. So you didn't offer anything valuable. So the close needs to cater to the need. And the need is uncovered during discovery. So your discovery portion needs to just be you asking questions. You just need to ask so many questions that you have such an understanding of their situation that you can say it back to them in different words than what they used while still understanding their picture.
I love that.
If you can say back to somebody what they said to you, but don't just, because like if somebody says, I really like green eggs, and you go, I really like green eggs, huh? Like you didn't listen to them, you parroted their information. And so if you can seek to understand this other person where they're coming from, and you can convey to them that you understand where they're coming from, they're going to be a lot more likely to be able to say yes to you. And it's like, hey, I think we should take this a little bit further. Let's get together. Because why would you take advice from somebody if they can't even listen? Like if they can't listen to you?
What this reminds me of is, it's funny because I've never thought about it until just this minute, is troubleshooting. So for example, an agent on our team will be like, my email's not working. And we know on this side, well, we have to ask a bunch of questions. But I think what agents hear is, someone says, I want to move, and they go, I'll help you move. Let's go. And so if we did that with my email's not working, well, is it FUB? Is it your Gmail? Can you not log in? Did you forget your password? Is it on all of your computers? Is it just your phone? Like, what is it not sending? Is it not receiving? And they'll be like, my pictures are too big. It's like, okay, that's like you got to dig. And so when you can repeat back their situation, their motivation, their problem in different words, that's the same thing of like, okay, now I know not necessarily like, now I know how to make a check. It's like, no, now I can solve your problem. Because when you say my email's not working, that means a billion different things to a billion different people. Let me figure out what it means to you so that I can share this value proposition or this piece of advice with you to help you along that journey. And most of those pieces of advice, it's not going to be like, oh, you're looking for Hillcrest, bye. Like there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
And I think too often agents get stuck on the upper level and not ask enough questions to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, the digging deeper is huge. A lot of that's one of the things that we train to is like, I don't know how to put this the right way. If somebody gives you their motivation, like don't just trust it and move on. If somebody gives you a time frame for when they want to move, don't just trust it and move on. Well, I want to move because my lease is up in 6 months. Well, can you move sooner? Do you have an exit clause? Like, do you have a month-to-month option after your lease is over? Like, somebody might go, lease is up in 6 months, therefore they have to close before then. But that might not be the lead's idea. They might have a month-to-month option. They might have an exit clause to break early. Like, you can't just, like, if they give you something, affirm it and ask another question to understand it better and to dig a little bit deeper.
That sounds so obvious when I put it, when I do it my way. It sounds so obvious when I put it in the tech solving. And I think anyone, like if you have kids, or if you work with a boss, they'll like this happened yesterday. Kyle asked me a question and I answered it and they asked me another question and I'm like, what do you want? Because I can help you way better if you give me the whole picture. But if I'm answering your question, we're wasting everyone's time. Just what do you want? How can I help? And I'll help you that way.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Last thing before we go, actually, before we do my last one, if you liked this, if you got value from this, please share it with someone. Share it with your team leader, share it with your ISAs, maybe share it with an agent that's struggling on the phone and you're like, oh, this makes it way more easy. Share this if you got a snippet of value. Also, again, thewhisselway.com, you can do all that cool stuff for our Facebook, YouTube, and all that jazz. And then finally, if you like this, leave us a review on one of your favorite podcast or listening apps. It means a lot to us. It helps other people hear it. It helps keep us going. And just like you want your clients to write a review for you, we would love you to write a review for us. We don't charge for this, obviously. And so reviews are our way of a little bit of social currency. All right, so we talked about figuring out the why, the motivation. We talked about a way to open, which I think if people fix their open, it'll fix 50% of their issues.
Yeah.
We talked about asking for the close. One thing that I really want to talk about, the last thing, is how do you transition from you're talking on the phone, to meeting in person? Because, and I, as a consumer, I'm this way. I'm like, I don't want to meet. I've got 3 kids. I've got a wife. I've got church. I'm too busy to meet with. I don't want to do that. Just tell me the information over the phone. How do you go, no, you got to meet in person? Like, no, just send me a Loom. Let's do something. I don't want to drive and meet you. How do you get them to be like, because what I don't like the bait and switch of like, we have off-market properties. Like, oh, tell me about them. You got to come in and see them. Like, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you get them to come in to where they're not annoyed? They don't feel bait and switchy when they're like, the old meme, this could have been an email.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I think by tactfully not answering questions, which probably sounds bad, but like there are some things that are not worth talking about on that first phone call. There are some things that you can misconstrue if you try to answer everything right up front. And by way of asking questions to elicit questions, now you know where their brain is at. And if they have questions, like, let's get together to talk about them, because, you know, at the end of the day, there's so much more to buying than just, oh, well, what's my credit score? How is that going to affect it? What are the programs available? It's like, I don't know. As a realtor, I shouldn't be answering those questions. You should send those to your lender. Your lender should be asking those questions. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of that, like when you get that kind of objection, it's a little bit of a litmus test as well. And I think this answer is going to vary depending on where you are in your business. Because it's very easy to have a squirrel mindset, right? Like, oh, like I got to go here, I got to do the showing, and then I got to go, and whenever the lead's available, I got to go, right? But if you time block and you know exactly what your schedule is going to be, you know when your appointments are available, you know how you operate with clients, you get to choose. If you get somebody that will not come and meet you in person, you get to decide if you want to work with them or not. Because if you're going to be in a consultative position with them, which I believe in real estate we are, if they're not going to take your advice, how is it going to be, are you going to have a functional business relationship? So if the advice of like, let's get together so that we can go into this more because I feel that I owe it to you to have the attention together, the face-to-face, even if it's on Zoom, I owe it to you to give you enough of an explanation, and sometimes visual aids help with this. Buying a home isn't easy. It's got long-lasting effects, and we need to make sure that we have a full understanding of what we're doing before we have the emotion involved of the property that you love. What do you pre-approve for? Like, if we're going to have a successful working relationship together that's going to end in your grandchildren having a better life, here's how we do it. And if you're going to engage with that or not.
I wrote down something as we were talking, and then I smiled when you said one of the words I wrote down. We're big into naming things, process, systems. We have our 7-day listing launch. We have our Media Mayor Mastermind. We have the Whissel Way podcast, right? Everything's named. Mm-hmm. When you were saying this, I named this in my brain. And the first time you talked, you could say something along the lines of, oh, that's something we discuss in our consultation. During this discovery call, we're just trying to get the baseline so that when you come in, I'll have all the materials prepared for you for exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because I can't, if you're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath in Normal Heights right now, I can go on real quick and try and find it while we're on this call, but that's not going to give us the information. After we do this discovery call and we set an appointment for tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever, then I can take this information, do my homework, and prepare it for you so that when you're here, we're ready to move forward. And so I think prefacing it that way rather than like, not that you said it this way, not rather than like, I won't tell you unless you come, but like, yeah, let me I know a lot about a lot, and I will know everything about what you're looking for, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And so I think if you do call it the the discovery call and I wrote buyer's consultation and I crossed out buyers because I hate calling people buyers.
Yeah.
So like our consultation and splitting up that way and like you said, I'll have visual aids. We'll be able to flip through things and we can look at it together. So you can tell me what you like and don't like and where you're at and where you're not at, and we can be on the same page together. I like that.
Yeah. And, the first-time homebuyer question, like if somebody is a first-time homebuyer, it's a no-brainer to get together. If somebody has bought properties before, it's a no-brainer to get together still. Because if you're going to work with this person and they've bought before, they may have preconceived notions about how does the industry work. They may have bought before in 1993 or 1985, when a long time ago. Well, the market's different today than it was then.
Or 2008 or 2021.
Or 2024. Yeah. The market is ever evolving, and so part of the reason to get together is so that you and the lead can lay a foundation for the way that you run your business, and they're gonna like it or they're not. And if you have a mindset of abundance around that, then you'll meet with enough people that like the way that you work that you'll be able to do your job. But a lot of people, it's funny because I hear a lot of people being like, well, you know what, my buyer, they just want to underbid on every single property. Well, did you talk about close to list price in the market that they're looking in at your buyer consult? Well, I didn't have a buyer consult. Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're letting your clients run you instead of the other way around. The buyer consult, it's not just about explaining the process. Like, it's also about like pre-framing for them how you work, how you two can communicate with each other, pulling market stats to show what's going on in our neighborhoods, what are effective offer strategies that we're seeing in the market today, how can we what do we have to work with? If I'm going to go out into battle and somebody gives me a rucksack with weapons or whatever in it, whatever I have to be ready, am I going to get on the battlefield and then open the bag to see what am I working with? Why would I do that? I need to see what...
You just throw the rucksack at
just
the
throw it
enemies.
at them. But what I'm saying is, if you open that before and you know you've got battle in 6 months, like don't wait 6 months to figure out what you're going to do when the battle starts. Take the time beforehand to understand your client, to get their pre-approval going, figure out what are we working with, how much are you pre-approved for, what is happening in the market they're looking in. Let's shop 50,000, 60,000 below so that we can offer above list price but still under budget. If you can present this all to the client at that appointment, and then you're building trust there.
Yeah.
And then whenever the time does come, when it's time to be writing offers, if you have the data to back it up and you pre-frame it at the consult, that's what those are for. And so if a lot of the problems that I hear agents being like, well, my client's doing this, my client's doing that, the question is almost always, what did you tell them about that at your buyer consult? And the answer is almost always, I didn't have a buyer consult, or I didn't cover that in the buyer consult. So you're doing it to yourself.
We did a podcast with one of our agents, Jen DiGiulio, I believe it was her, that we talked about the buyer consult and all of that. And so if you want to look into that, find that video. I don't know where it is. Somewhere, but it's really good. Tad, this was awesome. We went into buyer consults, which you're not allowed to. You're just I'm just kidding. I think this will help people overcome their fear, help get the kind of more of abundance mindset, know what to say, and again, like you said, once you set the next step, it's not like, well, what do I say? You already said it.
Yeah.
Is there, if someone wants to reach out to you and says, hey, this was great, I have a question about this, or again, knowing that you manage our ISAs, maybe they have questions about that, or systems or tools. I know you're an open book. What's the best way for people to reach out to you and to have conversations with you?
Honestly, probably just my cell phone or my TikTok, I guess. Instagram,
sure.
With the Whissel Way podcast, you can reach out on our website. There are plenty of different ways. I'd be happy to. Do people just give their phone numbers out?
Sure, give your cell.
619-815-3663.
And once again, that's 619. I don't know. There are 4 more numbers.
Yeah, shoot me a text, shoot me a call. I'm always happy to chat. Always happy to help.
Tad is always happy to chat. Tad, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for diving in. Thank you for giving your secrets away and helping people get better. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
See you next week on the Whissel Way podcast.